Welcome to January 7th, 2021. I know you got an email yesterday, but we are excited to announce today that there is a return to school. We are planning to return to in-person school on February 1st with a hybrid model for those students who choose to opt in. And honestly, I can't wait for you to see how long my hair is now.
Or mine.
not mine, guys, not mine.
It is important to think about a few things here. One, why return to in-person now? Number one, and perhaps most important, is there's a ton of data here explaining why it's safe to come. For example, in Cherry Creek, in the Cherry Creek School District, of the teachers and students who have been exposed and were quarantined, less than 1% of those had a transmission. That's really low and important for us to keep in mind as we think about returning to school. Two, Denver-based epidemiologists and doctors have really articulated that it is safe collectively and recommended a return at this time. That's huge. Three, positive rates and new COVID cases have declined significantly and steadily over the past few weeks. And four, in-person serves our school community best. We know that it is best to be in person for school, and we can't wait to have that be true.
And of course, those transmission rates are extremely low, and we believe it's safe because we're going to have extraordinary health and safety protocols in place for the students who choose to come in person. Just some of those, again, we'll go over these a lot more as we get closer to that return to in-person date of February 1st. But some of those things are things that you'd probably expect. Smaller classes and a reduced capacity and physical distancing, 6 feet of space between students in our community. Wearing a mask all day except for when we're eating and drinking is an important part of safety because we know that reduces transmission in the case we have an asymptomatic case in our building. Hand washing, doing those common sense things we've been doing since the beginning of the pandemic frequently will help us in mitigating the risk of returning in person. We'll have additional cleaning and disinfection that happens in our buildings frequently to eliminate the virus. We'll have additional nursing staff on site at all times. We'll have an isolation protocol for students who fall ill. We're likely not going to be using water fountains or lockers so as to prevent multiple touches of certain surfaces and reduce the spread of virus in our school. All of this stuff is going to take a collective effort of our community, not just the adults, but our students and our parents, making this happen in a really good way. But we're a community that does these things really well. We live our core values, we're cohesive, and we care deeply about each other, and we're going to do these things to keep our community safe. You're probably wondering, like, what is this going to look like? Is in-person learning, is that just going to look like what it looked like before the pandemic began? And the answer is not quite. Our schedule is going to look the same as it looks actually online right now in eSchool. So the way that you traverse your classes every day, first period through last period, whether you opt into in-person or not, that will remain the same. Your teachers will remain the same. But like I mentioned, in order to reduce class size, we'll have fewer students in the building every day. And the way that's going to look is through an AABB schedule. And that means that students who opt in person will either be in an A cohort or a B cohort. The A cohort of students that opt in person will attend school on Monday and Tuesday in those reduced capacity classrooms. The B group of students who choose to attend in person will attend school on Thursday and Friday. And Wednesdays will be remote only for all students, and we'll follow our current Wednesday MT schedule that we've already gotten used to in the second trimester. If you're a student who does not opt into in-person learning, remember, this is not a requirement. It is an option. All families have the choice to stay at home if they choose to. If you remain remote, your current schedule doesn't change at all. You'll see your teacher a little bit differently. They'll be in a classroom teaching through a webcam, and you'll see them kind of walking around and doing things that they're probably not doing now. However, your actual experience of the way you're engaging in your classrooms is probably going to be pretty similar. So to go into an example of that, we'll go to the next slide. Again, your eSchool schedule won't change. On Monday and Tuesday, if you're in the A group, you'll come in person. You'll go to your normal classroom, your class periods in order. The B group of students will be at home on Monday and Tuesday, as well as the students who've opted into remote learning, and they'll be learning remotely. The A group of students will be the only students in school, and they'll go through their periods with their teachers in the building. Wednesday, like I mentioned, is a typical empty Wednesday, except for nobody is in person. And then Thursday and Friday, the B group will be in school instead of the A group, and the A group will be remote learning along with their remote learning peers. So what that means is that if you're in the A group, you're in school about 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday. If you're in the B group, you're in school 2 days a week, Thursday and Friday. Once we have a clear understanding of who's opted in for in-person learning, like how large that group is, we'll start deciding on who's in cohort A or cohort B. And we will let you know that before February 1st, well before that. And we'll also have a safety orientation ready for you before February 1st and that week leading up to it. So you know exactly what to expect on that first day back in person if you've chosen to join in person.
So what will in-person instruction look like? Teachers are going to teach remote students and in-person students at the same time. Some students will be remote at-home learning, and a small group of peers will be in-person learning on any given day. So no matter whether you choose to be remote or in person, you are still going to attend class the same way. It just will be whether or not you are in the room with your teacher or you are still online. Though there will likely be modifications teachers make to better learning for in-person students as well, most classroom instruction will still remain on the online platforms that your teachers are using now. So things like Pear Deck, things like Google Classroom, things like Teams, those are all systems that you guys are using at an incredibly high level. We're going to continue to use that just to make this transition as smooth as possible for everyone, and to make sure that whether you are in person or online, you are still receiving instruction that is high level. And so, like I said, you're going to need to interact with Microsoft Teams. So you will join class, whether you are in person or remote on Teams. That way your classmates can still see you. And you will just have the opportunity to be supported in person by your teachers, should you choose that option. You will transition between your classes where you're in person in the building. So you'll walk down the hallway and go to a different class period. Can you believe, what was that even like? I'm so excited to see you guys in the hallways again. So you will have traditional transitions where you can move from one class to the next to get to your next class period. One thing that is still a little bit of a restriction per COVID is that lunch will not be able to be in the cafeteria. We will most likely have lunch in classrooms and in advisories just to make sure that we are still adhering to safety guidance.
So where we're headed, things that you should be doing in the next week. So starting tomorrow, Friday, January 8th, DSST, our network, will send your family a survey asking you about your choice about in-person or remote learning. Do you want to opt into that 2 days a week, or do you want to remain at home? There's no wrong choice here. The choice is what's best for you and your family. So we strongly encourage you to talk with your family and make that decision together. And please fill out that survey to let us know your choice by January 12th. So that's a pretty quick turnaround. That means by Tuesday, you need to have made a decision. And so we have information to be planning for that return to school. That week before February 1st, when we have that first day back in person, we'll have a safety orientation. We'll send you the specific date for you in the coming weeks if you've opted in. And we'll notify you of the cohort you're in. Are you in cohort A that's coming on Monday or Tuesday? Or are you on cohort B that's coming on Thursday and Friday? Monday, February 1st will be our first day in person for our cohort A. Wednesday, again, will be a remote day for all students using our current MT schedule. And Thursday will be our first day in person for our cohort B. And then every week after that will be similar. Monday and Tuesday, cohort A will come in. Thursday and Friday, cohort B will come in, and we'll continue that schedule for the foreseeable rest of this school year. So that's where we're headed. Big things you need to do: make a decision with your family by January 12th. If you have questions and you still have things you want to clarify before you make that decision, reach out to me or your deans, and we're happy to talk to you or your family and give you as much information as possible before you make that very personal decision. If you choose in person, we will handle it from there. Look for communication from us about what you need to do to be ready for in-person learning on February 1st. If you choose to come, we are so excited to see you beginning on February 1st. We have missed you. It's been almost a full year since we've been able to see you in a in-person setting, and that's why we do it. We do it to see you and see your learning, and we can't wait to see you in person and get all that amazing learning in our community back together, and a step toward more normalcy in 2021. So thank you so much for your time today, and don't hesitate to reach out to me, Mr. Even, or Mrs. Schultz with any questions that you have. But we're so excited about this, and we hope you have an awesome rest of your week. Bye, Hornets.
Bye.
Have a good day.